Hey everyone, it's Aureolin. We're back to another episode of Aureolin's Heartrate Gaming. We're back to Idle Heroes and the new event, which is the Wishing Fountain event. Yay! And they're giving us Kharma with her wonderful rework that we are now seeing. You can see visually here that she's totally different. She's much more monster-esque and it's kind of cool. And then we also have the shelter going on, which there's a couple of interesting things in here. Valentino, he's really good. And we have Vesa in here, which she has a rework coming up soon. From what I was looking at it though, it doesn't really look like I was really anticipating it because I was expecting her to get reworked in a way where she was just going to be beastly again. And I really loved her early in mid-game. She was really great, and she still is. But even with the rework that's coming, I still don't think she's going to be in-game material, which is unfortunate. I really like Vesa. But if you're, earlier mid-game and you have Vesa copies, she's totally worth building. She's pretty cool. And then we have King Barton also, who he got his rework here recently, and up until mid-late game, he's pretty good. So not a bad pickup for most people unless you're all the way in game. Kamath, I don't really think he's really worth it. And then we have Michelle and DA, which, I mean, unless you're really needing those, I wouldn't get them there. It's not worth sacrificing the dark and light 5 stars. I might go ahead and pick up the Valentino copy this shelter, just so I have him. I might, maybe. I haven't really been participating in the shelters much recently. So then, of course, we have the regular value packages, which the $100 one, they're giving us a chance at an extra copy of Penny. And then in the $50 one, we have the new Valkyrie skin, which is called Combat Symphony. This is the one that people voted on. And she looks all futuresque, and she's got a double HP bonus and a damage reduce. It says, come on, Valk. You gotta just let your body move to the combat. Come on, Valk. You gotta just let your body go with the combo. So you can see her little headphones going and she's grooving. I don't think it's very Valkyrie-esque, but honestly, none of the ones to vote on were very Valkyrie-esque. I mean, she was either Amazon lady or, I mean, come on, Valkyrie. Give her something with wings. This suit also looks very much like something I've seen in Love Nikki again. So yeah. But anyway, I think it's cool. I'm glad they went with the more modern look one. I prefer it. But yeah, so double HP bonus. That's a cool skin. Then we have this late autumn package. It's a $20 deal. Of course, these are usually a pretty good deal if you're willing to spend the money. I probably won't be. Ha! So I ended it around 2,400 again. I debated picking up the Valentino copy, but honestly right now I'm just in resource supply mode. So once again, per usual, I'm gonna get scrolls because they're harder to get. They're harder to get than orbs. So I'm gonna get scrolls, and I need to restock after having done the last scroll event. Yeah. So I need those. And don't forget, here at the bottom, this is your chance to get rid of any of those extra moon cakes or cheesecakes that you might have and exchange them for gold and gems respectively. So, and then we also have the Grey Dwarf's Blessing, which is your chance to get some class specific gear and things like that. So yeah. Wishing Fountain event, always try to complete it. Orbs, good stuff. So this is one of the easiest ways to get more orbs. So it's a really good event. Let's refresh and see if I get anything better. Of course not. Okay, let's spin a few times and see if we get really lucky. Come on, 5-star. So as usual, what you typically want to do on these events is be patient. Just spin until you get the 4-star off the wheel, and then stop until you can refresh, and then go again until you get the 4-star again. Because all those little 4-star fodders are going to add up to 5 stars, and you know that means more starring. So that's what you want to do. The 4-star is eluding me this time. Oh man. Okay, 4-star. All right, yay. Okay, so we'll stop there for now. I'll finish the rest later when I can refresh, but let's jump into the new reworks. So Kharma's got her new rework. I actually like her 10-star version way more. The little claw eyes, I think those are cool. But her abilities are totally different, you know, besides the, you know, petrifying. But she does damage against frontline enemies and has a 60% chance to petrify for 2 rounds. Wow. Bleh. Let me just throw an accent in there. And increases 4 random allies 30% of precision. So she increases precision to get, pass block. Yeah, pass block. Okay, as a frontline hero, so this is totally different. If she's set as in the front line, she reduces the backline enemies 30% of precision for 3 rounds, and as a backline hero, she reduces the frontline enemies by 30% of block, which right now with the heroes that are awesome, I would say putting her in the backline to reduce the block is really good because Horus is killing it right now. So if you put her in the backline and Horus is most likely going to be in the front line, then you can reduce his block by 30%, which is huge when you're worried about Horus's backlash. And then her second ability, she has Alternative Elegance. Her precision is 100%, and her attack goes up by 45%, her HP 20%, and damage against petrified targets plus 100%. So now she has a little bit of self-synergy, which is awesome. That's good stuff. So she's going to be petrifying people, and then she gets bonus damage from it. The Stone Gaze is when she's attacked, she has a 30% chance to petrify the target for 2 rounds. Now, this one I'm kind of like, meh. I mean, it's a 30% chance when she gets hit, and it's not like she's exactly tanky, so it's a pretty low chance. But that's probably in there just in case you want to run her front line, and then she has a chance of petrifying people as they hit her. And then the last one, Life Disassociation. Whenever an enemy is petrified, she restores the ally with the lowest HP 300% of attack. So she now has target heal. I mean, and she is a priest. So yeah, whenever she petrifies people, she has specific heal. So I'm kind of curious to see how she's going to work. I don't know many people, because I mean, she was purely fodder before. So I don't know many people who have bothered to build her at all. But I am curious to see how good she could do. I don't really know if she's going to be in-game meta. I mean, she doesn't really seem like it. She only has this passive, and it's only one ally with the lowest HP. She doesn't really have self-sustain. She doesn't really have like damage reduce or block or anything. So she's really support and those specific, you know, target heals, and then a bit of CC. But I don't know if she's really going to be in-game material, but she may be mid-game material now. Maybe. She was barely early game material before. But she looks cool, so ha! And then the other one that just got its rework is Skerei. So they did some changes on him. I don't know if this is going to tick some people off, honestly. I haven't really had time to read any of the posts about what people think about it. But he still does the damage to all enemies and tags them with a lightning mark, but he also has this weaken mark now. It says has a 30% chance to tag an extra lightning mark. And with a lightning mark, he increases, now it says self, 35% of active skill damage. So it no longer says Skerei, it says self. And it's 10% less on the active skill damage than it was before. But he gets this weaken mark, and the weaken mark reduces 3% of the target's damage on Skerei. Stacks up to 10 layers, so it can go up to 30%, reducing that target's damage on Skerei. So he can reduce the damage done to all Skereis on the team, but the lightning mark, the increasing skill damage, will only be on that specific Skerei, not all of them. So that could be a really bad thing for Skerei, because that was the one thing for Skerei teams, is that they would all get off their lightning mark and then they would all benefit from it, and they would just plow out this huge damage in PvE. So I don't know if that's probably a little upsetting. I was kind of sad to see that. I was like, what? Self? And then they also reduced it by 10%. So now the only thing they changed here, he still has the HP and the crit and the damage reduced, but the damage reduced is 20% now instead of 30%. But I'm sure that's because of the weakening mark. He reduces damage in other ways, and potentially it can be a lot more than the 10% he would have gotten from the insect armor. In the third one, his basic attack tags the target with a lightning mark and a weaken mark, and also steals the target's 10% of attack for 2 rounds. So other than the weaken mark part, that's still the same. But then once again, the lightning mark is reduced by 10%, and it's self. So the only thing that still applies to all Skereis is the weaken mark, so the reducing damage. Now, this might make him still viable as an all-Skerei team, because they'll all just be reducing damage by this huge amount, and then they're all triggering their own lightning marks, and it still could do a ton of damage. So I don't think Skerei's out of the PvE running at all, but I just was sad to see that. And then when attacked, he tags the attacker with the lightning mark and a weaken mark, and also increases self 15% of crit damage for 3 rounds. So there's lots of ways for him to get the lightning mark off. His basic attack triggers lightning mark. When he's attacked, he triggers lightning mark. When he does his active, he hits all enemies and tags them with lightning mark. So he has all these opportunities of putting lightning mark out by himself, and then on top of it, the weaken mark. So if you're running multiple Skereis, they're just gonna have, probably an extra 30% damage reduced, which means in total he could have 50% damage reduced. I mean, unless those multipliers work a little differently after applying all the other stats and whatnot. But yeah, so his skill damage boost is no longer Skerei itself. That's a little sad, but he still could be really cool with all this damage reduced, and he's a mage, so he's gonna need that extra protection. He doesn't have any self-sustain, so that could be important, having that extra damage reduction. Yeah, so I'm curious to see how some of the people who do have some Skerei PvE teams, I might have to ask them what they think about it and how it's affected their PvE damage-wise and survivability. I'm curious. But Skerei's been one of those heroes that's really hard for me to find. I have not gotten very many Skereis. I think only recently I've gotten a few. So yeah. like I said, this event's pretty straightforward. You want to complete this though. Oh yeah, and then our daily reward, they're giving us they're giving us a super wishing coin and 150 gems, which, you know, that's a little bonus. So that's cool. They're giving us some gems, probably to try and help out some people save up for the events that are coming. I mean, we're probably going to get a Halloween event. There's might be a Thanksgiving event. And then there's going to be the big Christmas Dark Hero event and New Year's Light Hero event. So you might want to like choose what you're saving for. I usually around this time of the year try to save for the end year, because the new Dark and Light heroes are usually just like, you know, blow up everything. So yeah, I'm interested to see those. I was really surprised when they released Amun-Ra after Aspen. It was like, huh? What? I thought we only got one new light or dark hero per year. But yeah, so things to think about, things to save for, things to look forward to. Build up that supply, get that stash going. If you're free to play, you might want to exchange for orbs from the shop event, just because they're a better return on you know, your investment. You're gonna get the 4 stars, you're gonna get 5-star shards, things like that. Especially if you're early game, it's a good way to get fodder and just get more stuff. If you're looking to complete events, then you might want to do scrolls, because they are harder to get enough of, especially if you don't have a ton of gems to spend. Haha, I need sleep. Okay, so yeah, that is pretty much it for this event. 240 coins as usual. They're giving us this Kharma. Play around with it if you're early game. Maybe you'll like her. Like I said, I still don't think she's going to be in-game material, honestly. Valentino is really good hero. If you're still early to mid-game, Vesa's really good hero. And if you're still anywhere, you know, from early to mid-ish late game, Barton is really good hero. So there's some good pickups in here. So if you can get these shelter heroes, they probably are worth it for you, especially if you have another copy of it. Get those. Star them up. They're not too shabby. But yeah, I think that's it. So if you enjoyed, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. See ya!